Today's video comes to you directly from you. Today, I am answering your questions. The top 10 questions that I've received, I'm answering today to help you escape the grind and start the life you love. Let's dive right into this today. Question number 1 comes in. How do I know if it's really time to quit my job and pursue my side hustle full time? That is a great question and not an easy decision to make. But hey, congratulations if you're there thinking about quitting your job and making your side hustle your full-time job. So how do we do this? Number 1, look at your real budget. If you don't have a budget, you have to make a budget. From there, you can look at your budget and see how much money you really need every single month to live. Now look at your side hustle and see how much money it's making. Is it making more money than your budget need is? This is a key indicator. Not close, you want it to make more. That's important because your side hustle or your new job or your new business is not always going to make exactly the same amount of money. So you want to allow a little bit of cushion. So once you know what your realistic budget is and your side hustle is exceeding that, and I would say exceed it by at least 10%. So just for simple numbers, let's just say your budget is $1,000 a month. Nobody's budget is only $1,000 a month, but this makes for some easy math. So if your monthly budget need is $1,000 a month, your side hustle needs to be generating $1,100 in profit every month, not just income, because your side hustle has expenses. You need to be able to withdraw from your side hustle at least 10 times more than your budget. So in this case, it'd be $1,100 that you can withdraw from it. Your side hustle can still pay all of its bills to do what it needs and give you your budget plus 10% more. That is a key indicator. The next thing you really need to think about is, do you love your side hustle? Is this what you want to be doing? And can you grow it? Do you have the opportunity to make it bigger? The opportunity to reach more people? The opportunity to serve more customers? These are great things. Now also think about what you'll be losing when you walk away from your job. Will you be losing a retirement account? Will you be losing health care? What are the things you'll be losing and how are you going to cover those? Maybe your side hustle needs to grow a little bit more to cover those things that you're losing as well. What about your family? How do they feel about this? Your spouse? This really matters because your wife really does crave security, and this is going to feel like a risky move to her. And that's not bad. Her feelings are valid, but how does she feel about this? Is she on board with it? If not, understand her concerns and why she's not on board and work through this with her. I'd say when we have these things lined up, that's when it's time to truly consider whether or not you want to make your side hustle your full-time job or if you'd rather stay in your job. Another key factor here is maybe this will push the envelope a little bit faster, but if you are miserable in your current job, do whatever it takes to get your side hustle to grow as fast as you can to get out of that misery. It's not good to stay stuck in misery. Sometimes we have to endure it for a small season while we work out some of the details. But especially if you're miserable, do whatever you can to get out of that miserable situation. Leaving a miserable job will give you a lot more brain space and a lot more happiness, a lot more ability to make your side hustle work. So push that side hustle to get it to grow, and you should see, make sure you meet the criteria, but you should see once you leave that miserable situation, that miserable job that you're in, that miserable boss that you have, you should see your side hustle will just take off even more because of the space that it gives you, the mental clarity it gives you, that mental freedom from the misery. So that's my answer. If you've got any more questions about it, write those questions down below and we will address those. Let's move on to question number 2. My spouse isn't on board with my plans to escape the grind. How do I get them to support me? Oh man, this is a challenge. But remember, your spouse is very valuable and your spouse should matter to you as well as your spouse's opinions. Now, most often your spouse is not on board because they're afraid of the uncertainty. Well, let's sit down and talk with our spouse about why we want to escape the grind, what it's going to look like, and answer questions. This is hard because quite often we get defensive here. This is not a time to be defensive. This is a time to hear the questions and concerns and address them. Some things you won't have an answer to, and you're just going to have to say, I don't have an answer. Maybe what's going to work best for you here with your spouse is to sit down, address those questions, and then work together at formulating what the plan looks like. The plan isn't going to be your plan. The plan isn't going to be your spouse's plan. It is going to be your together plan on how you're going to do this. One of the things that we like to do when we're entrepreneurial is race ahead, and our spouse may want to pull that back. So it's going to be a little bit frustrating. That's okay. Know that that's the case. And it will be less frustrating when you realize the answer here is to work with my spouse through this, to talk through those concerns, to build the path to escape the grind, and keep my spouse informed along the way. That is how you get your spouse on board. Work with your spouse, not against your spouse. All right, let's move on to question number 3. What's the best way to manage my time when I'm working a full-time job and trying to build a side hustle? This is a great question because we want to escape that grind. So if all we're doing is adding another grind, we're doing the wrong thing. So first, everything needs to be put in its box. You've heard me say this before. We've got videos on this. Go ahead and watch those. But here's what you need to do. Your full-time job, they pay you for a certain amount of hours. It needs to stay within those hours. It can't keep leaking outside of those hours because that's stealing from your ability to spend time with your family and stealing from your ability to build your side hustle. So make your full-time job fit in the box that it's given. Next, you only have so much time left. Your family is important, so you need to dedicate time to your family. So let's just say you work a 9-to-5 job, you get home at 5:30. Well, maybe from 5:30 to 8:30 is family time. You eat dinner with your family, you play with your kids, you talk with your spouse, things like that. Then from, 8:30? From 8:30 to maybe 9:30 or 10:30, you work on your side hustle and keep it in the box. It can't really escape outside of that box. Then after 10:30, it's bedtime or maybe some more time with your spouse. Whatever it is, everything does need a little bit of a parameter to it to give you the time that it needs. Make sure that when you do this, you are carving out very realistic time for your family. Often, in pursuing our dreams and our passions, we forget about our family. And that is one of the worst things you can do. Your family is more important than your job. Your family is more important than your side hustle. So that needs to be a priority, and you need to find the time for your family first. Then figure out what time you still have available for your side hustle. But you can put things in a box. Now, that sounds mean. Should you put your family in a box? No. But yes, your family gets dedicated time, but also your family may need you outside of those times. Your family is not your job. Your family is not your side hustle. So the allowance here is made for your family because they matter. So you try and control it, but allow them to access you outside of the box. Now on the weekends, I really, really, really encourage you to take one day completely off from work and completely off from your side hustle. That is pure off time. In the typical Christian house, that's Sunday. We take the day off. And I encourage you to do it. It really changes your ability to get everything done the rest of the week. It refreshes you. And the Bible does say take a day off for a reason. God knows that's what's best for us. So I take a day off every week. I actually take Saturday off because for me, Sunday is a very busy day. Going to church, taking care of church things, meeting with people. Sunday is very busy, so to me, it never feels like a day off. Saturday, I take as a complete day off. I spend Saturday with my family, watching some TV, reading, just enjoying the day. So make sure that you schedule in one day off a week. You're not dealing with work. You're not dealing with your side hustle. You have one day off. Everything gets a box. So how do we fit it all in? We just have to map out what our days look like and put everything in their place, and you will have more than enough time. When everything has a box to fit in, it will get done within the box. When you don't give it a constraint, it just never ends and it never gets done. All right, let's move on to the next question. I have so many ideas for side hustles, but I don't know which one to choose. How do I decide? This is a fantastic question. Especially when you're entrepreneurial, you will always have ideas and you will always have rabbits to chase. Do not chase them all. You will not be able to succeed if you're chasing them all. So look at your ideas, write them down. This is going to be your best option. Write down these ideas for side hustles that you have, these ideas of businesses you want to build, these ideas of money you want to make. Write it all down. Now go through that list and put a star next to every one of these that you already have the skills to do. Now go through that list and put a smiley face next to every one of these ideas that you're passionate about, like your favorites. Not every one of them can be a smiley face. Maybe only a third of them can be a smiley face. Now, let's look to see where we have a star and a smiley face together. That is a good starting point. That might be the place to start. Build that side hustle first. You already have the skills and you already have a passion and desire to do it. Pursue that one. I know you may have multiples with stars and smiley faces. Well, pick one. Pick one that has a star and a smiley face and do that one. Get that up and running and working extremely well for you. Then and only then consider starting a second. But in starting your second and starting to get the second going, if the first one starts to dip, we need to back away from the second because we're not currently able to run both. So you need to focus. Focus, focus, focus. That's going to be important. So pick one. The best way to do this is make that list, put the stars next to the ones that you have skills for, put smiley faces next to the ones that you're really passionate about, and see where that lines up, and then pick one. All right, moving along. Number 5 on our list. How do I overcome the fear of failure when I'm trying to start a business or make a career change? Whew. Fear of failure is real and it can be crippling. So know that not everything is going to go your way. It just isn't. Is that failure? No, that is learning. Now, in starting your side hustle, when things start to go sideways, you have to look at how you pivot. How do you change direction? How do you fix the problem that's being formed? That's what you need to do. So it's not failure, it's the ability to pivot. Think about this. If I'm going on a road trip and I want to go from my house, we'll say to Phoenix, Arizona, it is never a straight line. There are twists and turns along the way. I map that out. But now when I'm driving there, I have my map. I have my route planned out perfectly to get to Arizona, but there's a road closed. Did I fail on my road trip? No, there's a roadblock. I have to find a way around the roadblock. And that's the same thing with your side hustle. There will be roadblocks. There will be route changes along the way. And maybe you're going to find out what you started doing isn't something you really want to do anymore. Okay, end it. That's perfectly fine. End it. And pick something else. So, and if something does utterly fail, I mean, what ultimately happened? It's a side hustle. You didn't lose your house. You didn't lose all of your money. You may have lost a little bit, but it's not that bad. You can regroup and start over with something new. Most of the time, this is not going to be terribly difficult to overcome. Now, if your side hustle is requiring you to put the house up and put up a whole bunch of cash, maybe it's time to back off from that idea and do something that's a little less risky. All right, let's move on to the next one. Number 6, what are some simple ways to start investing even if I don't have a lot of money? Fantastic question. This gets away from the side hustles. This goes completely into investments. And all of us should have some type of investment. Now, the way I suggest to start, I personally use Charles Schwab for my investments. You have to pick a brokerage firm. And there's a lot of them out there to choose from. I gave you the one that I've used forever. So that's just where I am. I like them. Now, what you want to do is you can do this for just a couple dollars. Open an account. I think the minimum to open an account is either $50 or $100, whatever it is. Invest that $50 or $100, and then maybe weekly you can add $1 at a time if you wanted to. Just transfer $1 in and let that amount up there grow. Now what you can do, even with just $100, you can start buying into mutual funds. Mutual funds are very easy because they're like a diversified portfolio already of stocks. So do a little bit of homework about mutual funds, which funds are out there and how they're growing. Pick one and put $100 in that mutual fund in your brokerage account and let it sit there and grow. The market will go up and down, so don't get worried if one day you're down and one day you're up, one day you're down, or even a week that you're down. I mean, it happens. So don't look at that number constantly. Let it sit. Invest for the long term. If you invest over any 7-year period of time in history, you can slide that slider anywhere you want. Any 7-year, including the Great Depression, including the 2008 crash, any 7-year period that even includes those, you will have made money. So if you invest for the long term and don't get scared every time the market kind of gets scary like the Great Depression or 2008, if you just keep investing, you will make money in the long run. Now, that doesn't mean if something's consistently losing, that you stay in it. No. Be wise with your money, but you can start with as little as $100, and mutual funds are a great place to start. Learn what they are and buy a mutual fund. You can buy them for very little money, put $100 in one, save up another 100 and put it in the next. So that is how I suggest you get started with investing. All right, number 7 on our list. How do I build a strong network of people who can support me in my journey to escape the grind? Well, this is simple and not all at the same time. 1, get rid of naysayers. People who are telling you that it won't work or can't work or just don't support you. They are not your friends. They don't need to be your friends. You don't need that in your ear. You don't need that in your life. It is time to upgrade your friends, upgrade the people you spend time with. You are most likely to become like the 10 people you spend the most time with. And if you're spending time with these naysayers and people who don't support you, you're going to become like them. So upgrade your friends. Now, pay attention to those who are supportive or who have great advice. Maybe they offer suggestions like, hey, I heard your idea here. Have you thought about this? Now, sometimes that thought about this is a twist on I don't believe in you, but often it's a help along the way. These are people that you want to spend more time with and you want to upgrade your friends too. You want these people to be the people you spend time with. So just pay attention to how people are speaking into your life, what they say to you, what they say behind your back, and choose your friends wisely. Number 8, what's the one thing you wish you knew when you were first starting your journey to escape the grind? The first thing I wish I knew, the one thing I wish I knew, I think I really wish I knew that there will be good days and there will be bad days, especially at first. And when a customer leaves you, it's not the end of the world. They've just moved on. You can get a new customer. It's okay. Your business should never be dependent on one customer. If one customer is greater than 20% of your business, that's very risky. I try to make sure customers only equate to less than 10% of anything. So my biggest customer should be no more than 10% of my total revenue for that business because it gets very risky. But don't take it personal when a customer leaves or when a project doesn't go well. Do your best to make it right and then move on. It's okay. Tomorrow will come, new customers will come, better projects will come. With that, I'm going to say not every dollar is a good dollar, which could also mean not every customer is a good customer. You don't want somebody just because they're going to give you money. They may be a hassle, they may be a problem. That is not a customer you need or want. That just slows you down, that just wastes your time, and that just makes you not want to do what you're doing. Let's move along to number 9. How do I balance my ambition to escape the grind with being present for my family? Great question. That goes back to putting everything in the box, time management. Your family needs to be your priority here. More important than your regular job and more important than your side hustle or your newfound venture. Your ambition matters, but your ambition also needs to include your family. So think about your family somewhat as an investment. How can you build your family into a better family? What can you do for your family? And that doesn't mean working harder for your family. No. That means spending time with them, listening to your kids, playing with your kids, spending time with your spouse. Whatever your family needs as people, not monetarily, But as far as your commitment to them, your time with them, how you care and love them, they need that. So you need to put that first in your mind and then build your ambitions aside from that. All right, number 10 on our list. What are some practical steps I can take today to start moving towards my goals, even if I feel overwhelmed? Ooh, man, fantastic question. Practical steps, start figuring out what your future is supposed to look like. And that's different for every person. Write out, in 5 years, I would like to be here. What does that look like? Include in that, what does your family look like? What do your finances look like? What does your grind look like, or escaping the grind look like, your side hustle look like? Because we no longer want to be in the grind in 5 years. We want to be building the life we love by the time we get to 5 years. So what does that look like? Write it down. Now that you wrote it down, break it down into steps. What can I do today to help me reach that goal? Don't make it overwhelming. Your 5-year idea list is only an idea. It's just a destination you're aiming for. That could change over time. That's okay. But if we aim at nothing, we will reach nothing. So we need something to aim for. Now, we may see how big our dreams are. Great, the bigger the better. But now, don't get overwhelmed by how big those dreams are. Every day, what is one step we can take to get there? Break it down into small, simple steps. The first thing I need to do is pick my side hustle. The next thing I need to do is start my side hustle. Simple, easy steps to work towards getting there. That is how we do it. Hey, this has been fun answering your questions. I really love helping you escape the ordinary grind and build the life you love. If you have any more questions, go ahead, drop those down in the comments. And if you need any help along the way, there is a link in the description where you can schedule one-on-one time with me to help you escape the ordinary grind and build the life you love. I love helping you. You can do this. I believe in you. Let's get on it today and start escaping the ordinary grind and building the life you love.